29X right here. Today we're going to be tackling the SSR 125 fork seals. I want to make a video about this because for the pit bike owners. So as you can see, oh shit, as you can see right here, a lot of dirt and stuff collecting from the oil that's leaking out of that seal. So we got new all balls racing seals. Naturally, I love all balls racing seals. Got my fork seal driver. This is a tool you'll need for this, and also, you know, set of sockets and other things like that. First thing, I'm going to take off the front wheel, and this side is a 17 millimeter, and this side is the nut, which is a 19 millimeter. So 17-19 sockets. Actually, I should take this brake caliper off. Go ahead and take this nut off, and I'll do that. Okay, so nut. I don't see a washer. I think there's supposed to be one, maybe, but maybe that flange is enough. So two 12 millimeter bolts for the caliper. Okay, so I want that just be hanging really. It's not too heavy, but I'm just gonna set it up here just so it's not having pressure. So now that's free. And pull the axle out. Just like that. This will drop down, and there's a spacer on each side. So remember which spacer came out what side of the wheel. I usually put them back on the axle like so, just so I know which way it went, and I'll put the nut back on there as well. So now what? Now we got 4 more bolts on each fork, 2 right here and 2 right here, and they just pretty much just clamp the fork in place. So let's see, there are 4. Correct, number 4 Allen. I like these Allen sockets opposed to like T-handles are okay, but the regular Allen wrenches I can't stand. They take so long. So you don't gotta take these out, just loosen them. The bike needs to be off the ground, obviously, so if it has a skid plate, most pit bikes do, and if it doesn't, you should probably get one anyway. So you can just set it on a bucket or a stool or a toolbox or anything. So I'm going to back all these out about 2 turns, and they should, with a little persuasion, drop right out like that. And this is the leaking one, as you can see. This is why we're here today. We're going to do the same thing over here. Glad I caught that. Alright, so this one's not leaking, but OEM fork seals are just not that good in my opinion compared to all balls. So the difference in these is this one has holes for the caliper. So remember which side is which you probably can anyway from these, because these got to be facing forward, right, to block the dirt. Anyway, remember which way they come out. Alright, so one thing I forgot before I take these out is to break loose this top chrome cap right here. You want to break that loose before you take it out, because when it's on this clamp, it's nice and secure, and you can get a hold on it, you know. To get it loose when it's off the bike, it can be very difficult. Okay, so they're loose now. I'm gonna take these one at a time. Try to hold this with my foot here. And then take this cap off. I think it'll come off, but loosen it all the way like that. Drop the outside of the fork down, and then I'll pour out the oil. If there is any in this one. There might not be any. This is the leaky one. Yeah, see? Oh, there's a little bit. There's a little bit coming out. Consult your service manual also, obviously, if you have one. I don't have one. Leave those in there. Should use your 8mm Allen to on an impact gun to get the bottom bolt out of the fork. I have to try this because I don't have an impact gun really. I'm just gonna jam a screwdriver in there and then try to turn it. Oh wait, let me get my big Allen. It's in there pretty tight. Okay, there we go. So that's it. And these are the USD forks, so I don't think you need a fork compressor tool. If they're the other way, if the fork seals point up, you know, in other words, if the fork, motherfucker, if the fork sits on the bike like that, in other words, here's the tire right in here, that's a normal fork, then you're probably, the bottom bolt is, you probably have to get a fork compressor tool or make one in order to get it out. But these are USD forks, so most newer bikes have these. They're way better in my opinion. See? And there's your bottom bolt out. Actually some shit on it. I wonder if that came out. That was just in there, or if that was in the actual fork. Huh. I don't know. I'm gonna do one fork at a time, so I don't get the parts mixed up. Okay, so once you take the bottom bolt out, drain your fork oil. Just gonna compress it a few times. I'm gonna try get a flathead here. Small flathead. So I can pop this dust seal off. Because I think there's a little ring in there. Can you see that? Milk. That little ring inside there. So it's kind of like a snap ring, but different. You can get these little flathead like this. Usually you don't have to have snap ring pliers. So there's in there. There we go. Boom. And be careful not to scratch this chrome part. Obviously, I mean, jeez, do not scratch that. So I think I'll just let that sit on there. And then So you've taken your bottom bolt out, you've drained the oil out of the fork. There's still going to be a little bit, so I'm using a rag here. Now, you cannot get, you can't slide this. This has to come back off, right? But it can't because this is on here blocking it, like so. So basically, all you do, get this off, you slide it down, and you're supposed to, again, you're supposed to have right tools for this, but it's a pit bike. I've used the shit out of it. So anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. You should have a good fork removal tool, but you can use just a regular Allen wrench. I'm just going to use this thing. So this gray sleeve right here, I'm going to compress it down. I got to fight the force of the fork spring. I force it down, then there's a shaft in the middle, and I got to put this in the hole that's in that shaft in order to get leverage to take this off, this cap. So check it as I drop it. Matter of fact, I'm just going to leave it up here for right now. Right, so I compress it. There it is. Stick it in there. Alright, so now I got that like that. Again, not good for it, but then I'm going to take the cap. So you can use an Allen wrench, anything that gets in there to stop it from moving. See? Cap comes off. Compress that, pull that out. Now, be cautious. Remember how this all comes apart, because you will have to put it back together, obviously. We'll dry off here. So there's that, and this, all this, I think I'm just gonna, this is why you do one fork at a time. I'm just gonna leave all that in there, and then slide this off, like that. Some more oil's coming out. So now your fork successfully split in half. Now I'm going to take and slide the dust seal and the snap ring off, being careful not to scratch this surface, like that. Don't need the dust seal. I have all balls dust seals now, which are much better, so that's junk as far as I'm concerned. This we're gonna keep. I want to scratch that. We'll lay all our fork parts on there. Remember that one on the top that goes on the spring? This is the bottom bolt, and the snap ring, and the cap. So alright, now here's your fork seal itself, right in here. I don't quite know how I want to take this out, because there's inside, right behind the fork seal, there's a ring, a Teflon ring, and it has a special coating on there that you do not want to damage. See it? It's right here, right behind the fork seal. So the challenge is to get the fork seal out. You don't really have to worry about damaging the fork seal, right, because you're replacing it anyway. But you do have to worry about that Teflon ring, because if you damage that, that's going to be another, you know, however long wait for a new one to get shipped. Let's work around. I'm also not pressing the flathead all the way against the opposite wall. I'm just getting it on the seal itself. Boom. One fork seal out.